Not with that creek running through it.
I disagree personally.
I asked the town attorney today about a possible in-kind exchange with the fire department. Claire, could you explain that, please?
The question that was posed by Councilmember Strickland was to donate the property to the fire district under the proviso that they not raise taxes for a two-year period of time. Is that correct, Mr. Strickland?
Well,
At least 2 year period of time. That is doable. From a legal perspective, it's doable. Simply you put deed restrictions in the deed. Of course, the county sets their tax rate, so there would have to be consensus on that side of the table as well to do that. And I would recommend, if you want to look down that road, that there be a reverter clause in the deed that says if they do raise taxes, then we get the property back. Secondarily, I would recommend that, again, you're going down that road, that there also be a contingency in the deed for them to raise their taxes if they are dealing with a catastrophic event that they're having to respond to. But in answer to your question, Strickland, is wholly legal to do that.
So that would be a real win for the taxpayers for future budget years if they know, well, at least my fire taxes aren't going up for a couple of years.
Tax rate is 8.75. Under their charter, under the law, they can only raise that tax 1 1/4. They can only go up 10%. So the only thing they can raise it would be 1 1/4. If they was to raise the taxes, just 1 1/4. A mighty cheap piece of land. What money that would bring? That would be really cheap for to not raise it for 2 years for 1 1/4 cents.
We could crunch the numbers and perhaps run it for 3 or 4 years. They would agree. I mean, that was just figure out, threw out there, not knowing how much the 1.25 would generate over that period of time.
Are you saying not raise taxes or not charge taxes?
Summerfield Fire District taxes, for them
Yeah.
not to raise their taxes.
Not to raise them?
Yes.
Okay.
That was just an in-kind exchange as opposed to an outright sale.
Agree with that. I think their taxes are too high as it is, without looking at their budget. Okay.
I think we should explore selling the lot to the fire department. I think we need to get a commercial broker in to give us an idea of what we can realize from that lot, and I think we need to consider selling it to the fire department. And if we sell it, then put that money aside toward a future town hall or another site to put a town hall on. That would be more appropriate.
Make a motion.
Oh, okay.
I would say we don't need that money. Why sell?
We don't
Based
need that
on your
money?
vote last month.
We don't need that money?
You get it, it's the county money.
I didn't give the county anything. I let the people of Summerfield keep their tax money.
What about that $120,000?
What about it?
We just wasted $120,000 and we're
I
trying to
don't
do it.
consider it wasted. I don't consider it wasted if we have a zero tax for people of
So
Summerfield.
that's the beauty of considering things. I get to consider my way, you
Mhm.
get to consider your
Absolutely.
way.
Except my way won.
It did win. I don't agree, but it won.
Well, that's politics.
That's true.
Well, Dana, what do you think? Or we're discussing?
Well, I think that when we purchased that property, we had a plan to do a town hall. We had a plan for that property. We also at that time planned to try to do a town hall on it. We had plans drawn up. So if it's something that would work for a town hall, right now we're lucky enough to have this building to meet in. We did a lot of discussing and questioning then. We were going to build a meeting room there. We talked about a lot of different things at that time, and times have changed now. But I do agree that the town hall that we have, not set up in the best manner for the citizens to make use of it. Planning is upstairs. They have to come and go up the steps or go up that little elevator. It's not really an elevator, it's a lift. So, I think that if we were gonna do a town hall, I would prefer to do one with a meeting room. I don't know if you've been to Oak Ridge or
Yes,
Garden.
I have. It's a
But
beautiful
both
town.
of those have a lovely town hall that has a lot of value. Ours is historic and it has value as well. And I think that we are making the best use of that property that we can. But I think that we need to look at the future and decide that we need, if we're going to build a property, and if that property that we have there, I don't think that the fire department being there is a detriment to doing a town hall on that particular piece of property. I know there is a creek that runs through it, and I've seen some lovely properties. In fact, the Center for Creative Leadership has a stream that runs right along through their property. I think there's something that could be done with that creek and make it look attractive and use the property. There was a question about walking on bridge, parking on one side of the building on the other. There are some issues with the creek being there, but just because it's there, I don't think that devalues that piece of property for a possible town hall. Is it the best site? Perhaps not. If we decide we want to, I don't think the time is right at this point to do a town hall because we have ball fields and other issues that our staff is working on. So I think the time is not right now to look at doing a town hall, but we need to still keep that in the back of our minds and planning it. And we do have a piece of property that we can either leverage in the future to sell that piece and have money to go towards another property if we found one that was better, or else to look at that property and see if we could make use of it. But I think the burn tower with the fire department in itself is not something that would keep us from building a town hall.
Well, if you had a choice, would that be your first choice, that piece of property, to build a town hall on?
If I was going through the town and looking at that piece of property, it's in a good location as far as being good, easy to get to. It's in plain sight where people can find it. I mean, if you have another piece of property that's somewhere else, we don't want the town hall hidden. It needs to be where it is. I don't know that the piece of property that we have on 220, that's a little bit far out and not, we couldn't really use that same one and put the ball field and the town hall on that piece of property as some of the other towns have done. I know Pleasant Garden.
So does Oak Ridge have their ball fields right
Ball
across the
fields
street?
right across from there, but they were lucky enough to get large pieces of property that were given to them at a good price, or they purchased something that had that. I have not been looking in the town lately, but I know in the past we had definite problems when we tried to find something for a town hall. And there's just not that many that at that time that were the perfect site.
So that would be your first choice if you had a choice of a piece of property to put a town hall on?
That's not what I said. I said we have that piece and it's down in town hall. I have not known that we were on the search for looking for one, but that was the one that we elected to purchase at that time. I don't know if there's other pieces of property available because I have not been looking.
There's other commercial property on Summerfield Road. Down on the right, the little property, and the piece on the other side of it.
Wait a minute, the Frill property. I thought Ms. Lowen had the first refusal right on that to buy it if he was going to sell it.
It's the one I read that you like, John. There's a piece on the other side of that.
Well, since I have not been looking around, I cannot say whether it was my first choice or not because I haven't really looked at another thing for a choice.
Well, I think we all are pretty much in agreement that eventually, and when I say eventually, it could be 10 years from now, we will need a town hall. We'll outgrow this town hall. I don't think anybody really disagrees with that. The timeline, we might disagree on the timeline. I can't see keeping this piece of property